It's been over 4 decades since the small rural town of Oakwood, Louisiana was shaken to its core by the disappearance of 17-year-old high school student Rachel Jenkins. On January 10, 1976, Rachel vanished into thin air, leaving behind a cryptic note on her bedroom mirror that would become one of the most enduring and haunting mysteries in American true crime history. The note itself was a chilling message scrawled in red ink: "The shadow is coming." It was found by Rachel's frantic mother, who immediately reported her daughter missing to the local authorities. The police launched an investigation, but as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, it became increasingly clear that they had no leads, no suspects, and no explanation for what happened to Rachel. Despite the efforts of the Oakwood Police Department, the FBI, and numerous amateur sleuths, the case remained unsolved. Theories abounded. Some believed Rachel's disappearance was related to a string of suspicious fires that had been plaguing the town in the weeks leading up to her vanishing. Others thought she might have been kidnapped by a serial offender who had recently been spotted in the area. But as the years went by, it became clear that the truth behind Rachel's disappearance was far more complex and sinister than anyone could have ever imagined. In 2007, over 3 decades after Rachel vanished, a shocking discovery would be made in the depths of the Oakwood swamp, just a few miles from where Rachel lived. The small rural town of Oakwood, Louisiana, was a tight-knit community where everyone knew each other's business. On January 10, 1976, that all changed when 17-year-old high school student Rachel Jenkins vanished without a trace. It was a typical winter evening in the sleepy town, with temperatures around 40 degrees Fahrenheit and a light drizzle of rain. Rachel had been scheduled to take her driver's license test at 8 a.m. the next morning, but she never made it. Her frantic mother, Margaret, reported her daughter missing when Rachel failed to return home from a study group meeting at the local diner around 9:30 p.m. the night before. A search party was quickly formed, involving Oakwood police, state troopers, and even volunteers from neighboring towns. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Rachel's disappearance was not just another case of a missing teenager. The strange note on her bedroom mirror, "The shadow is coming," sent shockwaves through the community. What could this ominous message possibly mean? Was it a cry for help, or a red herring to distract from something more sinister? Rachel's parents and friends described her as an average student, popular in school, and with no known enemies. She had been dating a boy named Jimmy Wilson for about 6 months, but there were no signs of trouble in their relationship. The police questioned everyone in Rachel's circle, but no one seemed to have any concrete information about her disappearance. Detective James Taylor was assigned to the case, and he spent countless hours reviewing security footage, interviewing witnesses, and following up on leads. He even consulted with a local expert on occult practices, just in case the shadow was somehow connected to an otherworldly explanation for Rachel's vanishing act. As the days turned into weeks, the town of Oakwood became increasingly obsessed with finding out what had happened to their beloved teenager. Theories abounded, from kidnappings and murders to cults and cover-ups. But one thing remained certain: 17-year-old Rachel Jenkins was gone, leaving behind only a haunting message that still echoes through the small town's corridors to this day. As the investigation into Rachel's disappearance continued, a peculiar note on her bedroom mirror became the sole clue left behind. The phrase "the shadow is coming" was etched in faint letters, sparking an array of theories among local authorities and residents. While some believed it to be a desperate cry for help from a frightened teenager, others saw it as a deliberate attempt to mislead investigators. Over the next few weeks, police conducted extensive interviews with Rachel's friends, classmates, and family members, but none seemed to have any information about her whereabouts. Rachel's mother, Sarah Jenkins, reported that she had last seen her daughter on the evening of January 9, when they had a heated argument over a school project. However, Sarah revealed that their disagreement was not unusual, as the two often clashed due to their differing personalities. A search party comprised of local volunteers combed through the surrounding woods and fields, but no signs of Rachel or any potential leads were discovered. On January 15, authorities received an anonymous tip claiming to have seen a young girl matching Rachel's description walking towards the nearby Oakwood swamp. The caller described her as appearing distraught and disheveled. This new development led police to suspect that Rachel may have intentionally walked into the swamp, but subsequent searches yielded nothing. As days turned into weeks, the investigation stalled, leaving behind more questions than answers. The disappearance of 17-year-old Rachel Jenkins had become one of Oakwood's most baffling mysteries, with the phrase "the shadow is coming" remaining the only tangible connection to her fate. A review of local records revealed that multiple residents in surrounding areas reported strange occurrences around the time of Rachel's disappearance. These claims included sightings of a dark figure lurking near the swamp and unexplained noises echoing through the woods at night. While these accounts added to the eerie atmosphere, they provided no concrete evidence linking them to Rachel's vanishing. Detective Jameson, who was assigned to the case, described it as one of his most perplexing experiences. "We had nothing but a cryptic note and some unsubstantiated claims," he recalled in an interview years later. As the investigation dragged on, hope began to dwindle that Rachel would ever be found alive. The question on everyone's mind remained: what did she mean by "the shadow is coming"? As investigators scoured the swampy terrain surrounding Oakwood, they began to uncover a tangled web of secrets and lies. The more they dug, the more it became apparent that Rachel's disappearance was not an isolated incident, but rather a symptom of a larger issue plaguing the community. Local residents reported whispers of an alleged shadow figure seen lurking around town, with some even claiming to have caught glimpses of a tall, imposing figure in dark clothing. While these claims were initially dismissed as mere rumor and hearsay, further investigation revealed that several townspeople had indeed reported similar encounters. One such individual was Emily Wilson, a 19-year-old waitress at the local diner who claimed to have seen Rachel arguing with an unknown man near the swamp just hours before her disappearance. When confronted about the encounter, the alleged man in question denied any involvement, but eyewitnesses placed him at the scene on multiple occasions in the days leading up to Rachel's vanishing. The investigation also revealed a pattern of suspicious behavior among several Oakwood residents, including an unnamed individual who had been seen frequenting abandoned buildings in rural areas around town. While authorities have yet to identify this person with certainty, experts speculate that they may be connected to Rachel's disappearance. As the search for answers continues, some are beginning to question whether a sinister force was indeed at play in Oakwood on that fateful night. Theories range from human trafficking rings to an otherworldly presence lurking in the shadows. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: Rachel Jenkins' disappearance has left an indelible mark on this small rural town, and its residents will never look at their community, or themselves, in the same way again. As we delve deeper into the mystery of Rachel Jenkins' disappearance, a pivotal piece of evidence begins to take center stage. It's a recording made by the Oakwood Sheriff's Department on January 11, 1976, just one day after Rachel vanished. The audio captures a cryptic interview with a local resident, Jedediah LaFleur, who was known for his reclusive nature in close proximity to the swamp where Rachel was last seen. LaFleur's hushed tone and nervous demeanor raised suspicions from the very start. "I don't know what you're talking about," he says, as the interviewer presses him on any potential connections to Rachel's disappearance. However, it's a seemingly innocuous statement that follows: "I've seen some strange things in my time out there," that sends shivers down the spines of investigators. Further analysis reveals that LaFleur had indeed been spotted near the swamp on multiple occasions prior to Rachel's disappearance. Moreover, a review of his alibi raises more questions than answers. It appears that LaFleur was at home with his wife and young daughter when Rachel went missing, but the family's testimonies contradict each other. While some might brush this off as mere inconsistencies, others see it as a pattern of deceit. Was Jedediah LaFleur hiding something? Was he even present in Oakwood on January 10, 1976? The more we dig into LaFleur's background, the more his connection to Rachel Jenkins seems less coincidental and more calculated. The discovery of an old journal belonging to LaFleur has shed new light on the town's troubled history. Entries dated back to the early 1970s hint at a recurring phenomenon: people vanishing in the swamp, often leaving behind only cryptic messages. The writing is riddled with superstition and foreboding, suggesting that some unseen force was at play.